And Devo, can we get a WVS survey of your work? And we would like to make sure that all the Velcro flaps are closed.
This is it.
And could you make sure the straps are taut, secure on the lee?
Yes. Turtle 2 is under the lee handle. Pretty sure, but I will...
So now that the greasing activities on this end of the station's robotic arm are complete, there you see Mark Vanda High on the external stowage platform where he's taking off the portable foot restraint and getting that back in its normal configuration. He's getting set up for some extra get-ahead tasks since they finished their primary task so early. In fact, in less than 3 hours of the scheduled 6.5-hour EVA today. On the other end, Norishige Kanai continuing to work with the Lee A side, the latching end effector, working with some ground straps to get that secured down before he continues some extra get-ahead tasks.
And Nemo, we saw Belt 2 routed a little different than we expected, and we would like it under the lee shroud, so it's taut. Could you verify that it's routed that way?
The shroud. Can I open the shroud?
Negative. It's away from the opening.
Away from the opening, right that.
Aki, I've got this APFR low profile, but it's covering up SPDM target on the FFC right next to RIF 05. Move it in the other direction, it'll cover up like something else is similar. It's staying at RIF 5?
Yeah, it's staying in with 5. We don't have your WVS right now. Stand by.
The only thing I changed was the pitch, and it's now uniform.
Could you, and Mark, could you cycle your WVS? We're not getting video, and check green light.
Yep, I've got a green light. I'll cycle it right now.
Thank you.
Baby 2 is lead out, and it's avoided the opening.
Copy, Nemo, stand by. Check in.
Aki, my WVS power cycle is complete.
Copy, stand by. And Nemo, thanks for that adjustment. We'd like you to go back and verify the grounding tabs are secured.
Okay.
So Norishige Kanai checking his work at the Lee A side of the station's robotic arm, working with some ground straps to get that all secured down. Meanwhile,
Thank you, Nemo. Great
Mark
job
Vandehei
working on that
asked
craft.
to power cycle his wireless video system, which is now fully operational. Sometimes they lose communications with that. Now we're getting video from both spacewalking astronauts today.
So let me retrieve the bag, and it's ready to go.
Copy. And for Mark, we got your WVS back.
Okay, let me give you a view again.
We see it, Mark. Stand by.
Goodbye. And the settings are 6 uniform, Foxtrot. 6.
Copy. Mark, we're good with the H fixture. We just want to make sure that the FRAM is clear of the APFR.
You're talking on the Nader side?
On the Zenith side.
The FRAM is. About just zenith of 5, correct?
Sorry, I was disoriented. I guess it's the Nader side.
Okay. And that's, oh, okay. Wait. I got the FHRC on my left. There's the FSC that we had with the, let me correct that. On the port side, Nader of WIF 5 is FHRC. On the starboard side of WIF 5 and Nader, FSC that we just dealt with today with the Lee. What do you want me to check?
Checking.
Okay. Sorry.
No, please, Nemo, go ahead.
E2 is ready to translate.
All right, Nemo, great job. So the translation path for you is from that location, go along the node 2 aft end cone. On the port side, go zenith a little bit, and then there should be a gap spanner between node 2 and the lab. Take that onto the lab. Go continue zenith, and you'll pass the trunnion, and then right after that trunnion, there's a line of handrails on the lab, and take that to the aft, and then go up zenith on a gap spanner.
Okay. Sounds good. I will ask you when I have questions.
So Norishige Kanai wrapped up actually his get-ahead task of securing those ground straps on the force movement sensor of the Lee A side of the station's robotic arm. That was all secure. He did some checks, and everything looks good. Now he's translating or moving over to his next work site as Mark Vandehei works on the external stowage platform to secure the portable foot restraint, which he's been on for most of today's spacewalk, secure it back in place on the external stowage platform. So again, we are live on Facebook and on NASA TV. We have a couple questions coming in. One is from Manish asking, during the spacewalk, if astronauts have certain kinds of training to face difficult situations. The astronauts do a lot of practicing for extravehicular activities. A lot of it is in the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, where they have full-scale mock-ups of the outside of the space station and can practice all of these tasks in the water at a state of neutral buoyancy where they're not sinking or floating, they're just sort of stationary in the water. It's one of the best simulations for microgravity that we have here on Earth. But we also have a VR lab where astronauts can put on some virtual reality equipment and simulate what it would be like in a virtual environment to do a spacewalk. And in that virtual reality lab, they have certain training for the SAFER unit that they're both wearing today. This is the Simplified Aid for Rescue that has the ability, if they were, for whatever reason, to become untethered, which they are usually very good about, but for whatever reason, if they were to be untethered from the space station, could use this Simplified Aid, this jetpack, to sort of boost their way back to the station. And in the VR lab, they practice that in this scenario that were to happen.
Just Papa.
Copy that. Did a good pull twist test.
Did it before I got hit.
Yeah, I thought so.
But I haven't changed the...
All right, a quick glove and hap check from you, Mark.
Copy.
KEB2 found the jet spinner going up. Spinner.
Copy. And stand by right there, Nemo. We're taking a look at that MLI right in front of you.
Okay, I do have one change. There's more RTV that's come off of that's peeling away from my right index finger. If you can see it or not.
Copy, right index finger.
The top layer is peeling away.
Copy that. And Nemo, you can press continue translating. Thanks for stopping.
After that,
I have a dry hat.
Copy, dry hap.
So Mark Vandehei wrapping up some of his tasks to install the portable foot restraint back on its location on the external platform. Norishige Kanai pausing during his translation or movement back to his next work spot. During the translation, there were some directions for the outside of the station to get from place to place. We have a question from Mary Beth on Facebook who's asking, what are the nadir and zenith sides? These are nautical terms, zenith being if you were looking at the space station orientation in its normal configuration, zenith would be the top, the space-facing side, nadir being the bottom or the Earth-facing side.
has no leftover of the power to do another task.
Okay, copy that, Nemo.
Nice job, Nemo. Thank you. You're hustling all.
Yes, maybe I need more air in the system.
Either that or more time on the arm like I had. I recommend you do while you're waiting around is double check all of your items on your mini workstation. Make sure they're where you expected them to be.
Okay. Yeah, good call. Thank you.
All right, so Nemo, you can head back to the airlock. Thank you very much for your work. You guys have been doing a great job today. Mark, just wanted to check on how you're doing, whether you have some reserves in your tank.
Got some reserves. Really haven't been working nearly as hard as I've had Nemo working.
All right, guys, big picture. So Nemo's been working a lot today while, Mark, you've been on the arm. And what we're thinking right now is, Nemo, you can head back into the airlock, get the bags reconfigured, make sure it's ready for Mark to ingress. In the meantime, Mark, if you are comfortable, we're thinking of you doing the FHRC strut correction, and then think about the rest after that.
Yep, I'm happy to do that FHRC strut correction. I'm afraid I'm right below you. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit you with my crew light bag.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, that's my fault.
Okay, can I wait for you here?
That's a good spot to go, and I'm going to get config again. Okay, you can go ahead and keep out moving, Nemo.
All right.
So just over 5 hours and 18 minutes into today's spacewalk, our two spacewalkers have completed all of their primary tasks and have been rocking through some of those get-aheads to try to stick with the schedule of keeping to the 6.5 hour planned EVA. Norishige Kanai is on his way back to the airlock and going to clean that up a little and get ready for Mark Vande Hei to get back in. But while Vande Hei is on his way to the airlock, he'll start working on a flex hose rotary coupler, just a small component, and just kind of correct it on his way back. This component is located on the external stowage platform where he's at right now, as you can see from this view. We have one more question from Facebook, I believe. Shay is asking, how does spaceflight affect your bodies over time? There are a lot of countermeasures that can prevent some of the bone and muscle loss that a lot of astronauts see if they were not to work out, but doing aerobic and resistive exercise actually mitigates this. 2.5 hours a day the astronauts dedicate to working out, both weight-resistive exercise and also aerobic exercise on a treadmill and a stationary bicycle. Sometimes astronauts even come back stronger and healthier than they did coming back down.
Your green hook isn't out there, is it? Oh, I see it. Wow, that was an unlucky one. Oh, under motion.
Hey, Mark, while you're there, could you tap on the brake pedals, please?
Yeah, how about when I come back?
That sounds good.
On the way back past it?
Absolutely.
Hey, Dino, your tether's coming back to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem. Looks like it's in a good config.
Alrighty.
Lock
Copy.
And Houston and EV crew members, SSRMS is safe and you are good to go.
Copy. Stealth Maker.
Here's the copies.
Nice job, Nemo. Nice job, Mark. We'll see you in the airlock.
Yep.
All right, Mark. So big picture, we're thinking...
Get my board. Yep, go ahead.
So I understand you're heading back down?
I am.
Copy. So next for you would be the FHRC strut correction at ESP2.
Okay, copy.
And Mark, did you get the brake pedals on the way back?
I only got it on the port seat cart. I didn't touch the candles on the starboard seat cart. Want me to get back up there?
No, negative. You're good. We were just looking at the port, so you're good. Thank you. So, Mark, you're looking at the port side of the FHRC. That's going to be the work site for you.
Copy. Hit.
Does it look familiar?
Starboard side does.
So Mark Vanderhei is back over at the external platform where he spent a lot of time just a little bit earlier on the tip of the foot restraint to apply grease to the inside of the robotic arm that you can see positioned right there. He's going to correct a strut real quick, one of the smaller get-ahead tasks, while Norshie Kanai hangs out at the airlock awaiting to see if maybe they have time for one more or if they're going to go back in the airlock and wrap up today's activities. We have a question from Kevin on Facebook. Is space debris ever a problem during spacewalks? That's why they wear the suits that they do. The extravehicular mobility unit has several layers, some of which includes micrometeoroid protection, and this protection is also on the station itself. The structure of the station is able to protect from micrometeoroid impacts. Anything larger than micrometeoroids are tracked, and if something presents a problem, the station itself can maneuver out of the way ahead of time. If anything, it looks a little bit more dangerous than that. Again, you can continue to ask questions on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram.
I'm at the work site, yep.
All right.
There's a piece of MLI that's floating here now.
And Brooke on Twitter is asking where above Earth they are right now. The International Space Station is 250 statute miles above the Earth, just at the tip of northern Africa over the Sahara, about to enter orbital nighttime. You'll see the outside of the International Space Station slowly start to get darker as they cross over that terminator line.
Oh, this is taped down. That's what the problem was with this. Yeah, the MLI is actually taped down here.
Interesting.
So my recommendation, because I'm not being very successful getting tape off with my fat EVA fingers, use the EVA scissors to cut it. Or let me see if I can get, I'm working it from the opposite side where there's forgive, and I think I'm making some progress.
Hey, Mark, do you think you can pull on the strap to put some leverage on that tape, or maybe a hook?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. The hook is a great idea. I'm going to try that too.
Copy.
I'm starting from the strap side now. Trying to get some leverage on it.
Copy.
So Mark Vande Hei, we're getting a view from his helmet camera. Again, he's 18, working with the Flexos rotary coupler. Apparently it's taped down using some ingenuity to try to get it.
The MLI is still intact.
Copy that. Do you think you can rotate that strut?
I'm sure I can. The rotator's got it right in place now.
Awesome. Worked at it, and we're done with this task.
And there you go, with a little bit of ingenuity, was able to actually adjust the strut.
Nima, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. Still alive.
Beat that view, huh?
All right, guys. So if Mark is up to it, I think the next task for you, and this will be the last one we do today, but it's going to be the APFR relocate. If Nemo is, you can hang out outside the airlock or go inside into the airlock.
Okay. I will, so if it's okay, I can open the thermal cover and climb in the airlock.
Copy, the FHRC strut is complete.
Copy, FHRC complete. And close the FSC MLI Velcro at the end. And Mark, are you okay with continuing with APFR relocate after this?
Sure.
And Nemo, it will be about 20 minutes before Mark comes back to the airlock. Just wanted to confirm if you're good staying inside for that.
Yes. It's okay to open, continuously open the summary cover for 20 minutes.
Stand by. Okay, you can open the thermal cover and go inside the airlock.
That summary cover is open and slowly coming in the airlock and configure inside.
Sounds good, Demo.
Rocky, this leftover piece of MLI I had to free. It's really supposed to go around the stanchion that we just moved, and got it tethered. The tether's not long enough to get to it anymore, so I just wrapped it around the handrail. I'm not so sure that's a good idea. You see it in the WVS?
Yeah, we see it, and we're good with what you did with it.
Okay.
All right, Mark, great job there. So for the APFR relocate, you're going to retrieve the APFR from the ESP2 forward with 6.
Okay, copy.
2 minutes nighttime.
Thank you.
So as they transition to an orbital nighttime, the International Space Station 251 statute miles over Central Africa right now on a southeasterly course. We'll start seeing the views from the outside of the station getting darker and darker. Quick recap of some of the activities. So Mark Vande Hei and Norishige Kanai are very much ahead of the schedule, able to complete their primary tasks and almost all of the get-ahead tasks today. Mark Vande Hei is going to do one more get-ahead tasks. He has some time, so he's going to relocate portable foot restraint and bring it over to the SETA card. This is another mobile-based system on the truss. Meanwhile, Norishige Kanai will be hanging out in the airlock, sort of gathering himself and also cleaning up the airlock for both of the astronauts and one of the latching end effectors that's currently inside one of the primary tasks for today, for all of them to come inside the International Space Station. So we have a question from Ragav on Facebook asking why there are mirrors on their gloves. So that's on the sort of inside of their forearms. They have mirrors. They can actually see the reflection of some of the controls on their chest. All of the controls are sort of written backwards, so when you look at the controls in the mirror, they appear normal, and with that they can control and regulate the temperature inside of their extravehicular mobility unit, their spacesuit.
You know what, Aki, I'm thinking it's time for me to call it quits too.
Copy that. That sounds great to us. So you can head back. You are at the airlock, right?
I'm at the airlock, yep.
Okay, EV2, I got the EMORU back. That's inside that small foot. And I have re. Okay, let me configure re in the good position for the another crew lock bag. So my right side waist tether is attached to the internal airlock leading extender, and it's black on black. I'm in good config.
Sounds good. And Mark, if you can get your bag inside.
Working on that.
Thank you, sir.
I will grab the bag for you.
Thank you. you. I will still rides in my VRT.
Okay.
Bag is.
All right. I see the bag. Okay.
Ooh.
So, last minute change up from here in Mission Control Houston. Since it is orbital nighttime, instead of moving the portable foot restraint, they're just going to start wrapping up today's extravehicular activity and begin ingress, or basically getting into the crew airlock, close the hatch, and begin repressurization. So with that, once the repressurization begins, that will mark the official end of today's spacewalk. Again, they ran significantly ahead of schedule. What was scheduled as a 6.5-hour spacewalk today, now we're sitting at 5.5 hours. They'll take a couple minutes to get themselves situated, and it might take some time, but still running ahead of schedule to wrap up today's EVA.
Congrats. I am safe. You are also release my safety anchor.
Okay, I'll get ready to attach your anchor to my waist tether and use my waist tether as a safety tether to you.
Houston, copy.
That's my the small hook on my waist tether is closed and locked on my right D-ring extender.
Copy. You can release Nemo's anchor hook from the airlock forward external D-ring.
Okay, that's in work, and his anchor hook is closed and locked, and my waist tether large hook closed and locked to his anchor hook. I see myself in a good config to undo my anchor hook on my safety tether back. Agree?
Copy and concur, and less than 2 minutes to a handover, but you can release your anchor hook from the handrail 0554, stow in your mini workstation, and ingress the airlock. And for Nemo, you can remove the SU from the stowage pouch and connect it to your DCM.
Roger that. Okay, Sable, you are
Flipped around, aren't I?
your place is facing forward. So basically, you are facing us.
Roger, I'm just going to finish getting something attached to this thermal cover so I don't have to go chasing after it.
Sure.
Then I'll rotate around.
Yep.
So my waist tether is that way. Okay. So do you agree I should try to rotate to my...
Yes, that's the first way. Other way.
Other way?
Other way.
Other way, okay.
Yes.
So switching over communication, again, those tracking and data relay satellites, switching visual and audio communication from the International Space Station. Our two spacewalking astronauts getting situated inside the crew lock right now. You were able to see the thermal cover on Mark Vande Hey's head as he was getting in. Again, they're beginning their cleanup and ingress procedures to re-enter the International Space Station and wrapping up today's spacewalk. Hopefully a little bit early, it looks like. They were able to rocket through their primary procedures to move some of the latching end effectors around the International Space Station. In fact, one of them is inside the crew lock with them, as well as get a lot of get-ahead tasks done ahead of time. So we've been live on NASA TV and Facebook Live. Philip on Facebook asking how cold it gets when the space station goes into Earth's shadow. Usually during the shadow time, it's negative 200 degrees Fahrenheit. With the sun shining, it can get to positive 200. And that's why they have the thermal protection in their suits and able to regulate their temperature with the mirrors that we were talking about before.
to the right, to the left. All right, let me get my, is that your hand on my foot? Okay. Yeah, actually, that was helpful. Why don't you put your hand on my foot again? All right. So, I'll get in here further. Okay, see that there? Feels like something's keeping my back from coming towards you. Oh, there you go. Whatever it was, that worked. Okay. Okay. Thermal cover's closed. Nice.
Copy. Thermal cover
actually,
closed.
Wow, it's just a Velcro strap.
Yep. Attach the Velcro strap.
I got the Velcro. Nice. Now I got to rotate around enough to hit that lever. All right, so I'm going to try to come in low. My hook out here.
So we're seeing the last views from the outside of the International Space Station as we're seeing Mark Vande Hei trying to close that thermal cover and get the hatch closed so they can continue the ingress procedures and wrap up today's extravehicular activity to move some of those latching end effectors. In the meantime, we've been answering questions on Facebook, one of them from Vic. How did the when did the Canadarm get installed on the International Space Station? Well, it was delivered on STS-100 back in April 2001, so we're coming up on the 17-year anniversary of the Canadarm2 being delivered to the space station. James on Facebook asking, what's the box hanging off of his strut, or off of his suit? That might have been during one of the earlier activities, especially Mark Vande Hei working with the lubing activities of the latching end effector. Next to him was a bag called the crew lock bag. Basically, think of it as a tool bag. He was able to put all of his tools necessary for that activity, the BLT, ball screw lubrication tool, the grease gun. All of these tools went into that bag, and he had them easily accessible while he was performing the lubing activities.
Anything I can help? Not so far. Okay. Go for it. Oh. How are today? Okay, Aki, I'm jumped the gun a bit. I started closing the hatch before we talked, so.
Right.
The hatch is still open, but partially closed. Let's pick up again.
Yeah, we're not going to close the hatch just yet. So first, we need you on SCU.
Sorry about that. I jumped the gun.
Yep. So we need you to remove the SCU from the pouch and connect it to your DCM. Make sure it's locked.
E2, attach and lock.
You want to put that in work. At least now I know I can do it.
And Nemo, do you have your SCU on your DCM and locked?
Yes, attached and locked.
Copy.
Okay, Aki, my DCM is attached. My SCU is attached to my DCM. Closed and last. Nemo, can you hook this safety tether behind me somewhere so it doesn't drift in front of me?
Hey,
Any miscellaneous handrail?
all right. Me?
Copy SU installed and locked. You can put your water switch to off OFF. Expect a message.
All right.
Water off, EV1.
Give me, if you could, hey.
Actually, Nemo, I can put it on my mini workstation. I don't know what I was thinking.
All right.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, copy
Okay,
water
and
off.
water switch. Negative, not yet.
That's for EV1 so far.
Okay, copy that.
Two, off.
Copy water off for EV1 and EV2. We're going to have to wait for 2 minutes for until we can close the hatch, so stand by. And while I have you, if you do hear a squeal in your headset while we are repressing, you can go from Pride to Alt on the radio.
EV1.
EV2, copy.
Fantastic job, Nemo.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, gentlemen, 2 minutes is up. So, Mark, verify that the outer hatch is clear of hardware and tethers, and you can close the hatch. Short handover. And 20 seconds to a short handover.
Hatch is closed and locked.
Very smooth.
So as we switch communications through our satellites, the crew is inside the crew lock. The thermal cover is Velcroed down, and they are now beginning the repressurization procedures now at hatch closures, making sure that none of the tethers are obstructing the closing of that hatch. Again, the extravehicular activity today, the spacewalk, will wrap up once we begin repressurization. We're now sitting at 5 hours 50 minutes ahead of our 6.5 hour scheduled spacewalk today.
DCM on the touched and locked EV2.
EV1.
Okay, we had the water switch off OFF for 2 minutes. You guys had the hatch closed and locked. Nemo, on the UIA, check that the oxygen EMU 1 and 2 valves, two switches are open.
Open and open.
Copy. And then you can switch the power EV1 and 2 switches to on, ON.
Okay. Excuse me, Mark.
Problem.
EV1 is on, 2 is on, and the EMU lights are on.
Copy. EMU LEDs 2 are on, and check that the power EV1 and 2 volts are 18 to 19.
Okay, EV1 18.9, EV2 18.5. Okay, both 18.5.
Copy. For both of you on the DCM, switch power to SCU and expect the warning tone.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Power SCU.
So, SCU.
Copy. And that completes the first portion of the repress cue card. Awesome job again. With everything completed, we got some get-ahead tests completed. Flight's happy, EVA's happy, the robo's happy, and we're all happy here. Congratulations on completing the 208th ISS spacewalk, and especially for Nemo to be the 220th human to conduct the spacewalk. Great job, guys, and otsukaresama deshita.
Thank you so much for the support.
Aki, thanks for the great support. Thanks to the whole team and for keeping us safe, making a great plan, working all those painful details, pull this whole thing together. It was a success because of a huge amount of people. So it's a huge honor for Nemo and I to be able to do that, as well as for, I know I'm speaking for Baker and Joe as well. It was great to be a small part of the team in space, representing the whole space team on the ground.
Copy that. Thanks for the great words. And with that, I will hand you over to Joe and Maker inside.
Thanks, Aki. Great work. And over to EV1 and EV2 on your DCM. Step number 1, we're looking for the O2 actuator to press.
Work. Good work.
So some congratulatory words from Aki Hoshide, who has guided the 2 spacewalking astronauts through today's procedures. That wraps up his role as the ground IV for the spacewalking activity, now handing over to the 2 astronauts who have been at the controls at the station's robotic arm for most of the day through those activities, now in the airlock, making sure that the astronauts are going to go through repressurization procedures. Again, once the airlock starts repressurizing, that's when the spacewalk today will officially end.
Stand by. Sorry, Mark.
No problem.
Okay, auto actuator press EV2.
Okay, copy that. And Mark, we're looking to check the EV hatch. MPEV is closed.
That MPEV is closed.
Okay, Mark and Nemo, we're going to start manipulating the equalization valve out here. And just a heads up that when the crew lock is at 4.0, you can expect an alert tone. And when the crew lock is at 5, we'll continue on with the steps, which will start off by closing the equalization valve.
Measure that. 1.
Okay, here comes the valve. And EV1 and 2, if the rate starts getting a little too fast, let me know. I'm going to try to take it slow for you.
Thank you. The one copies.